The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are so.
It's a beautiful night for baseball here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Another big crowd filing in for Ned Yost bobblehead night. That'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully, though, the Braves will have the last laugh as they try to even up the series against Eric Hosmer and the Royals. Freddie Freeman's been swinging a hot bat. We'll see if Atlanta can get the offense rolling behind Mike Foltynewicz tonight. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. A wasted pitching performance by Julio Teheran last night. He was absolutely terrific, as has been the entire staff one time through the rotation, and that includes tonight's starter, Mike Foltynewicz, who was brilliant.
Yeah, you're right. Julio was tough last night when he needed to be and held this Royals lineup down pretty well, but couldn't get enough support. Well, let's hope that that's a different story for Mike Foltynewicz tonight. When you get past the first inning that he pitched in the big leagues this year, he has been outstanding. Here's some action from his game against Arizona, where he was brilliant. Perhaps his best start ever in the big leagues. No walks in that line against Arizona. Here's the numbers since the first inning against the Mets at Citi Field. 9 2/3 innings, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Those are all really good signs. And what we like the best about his game against Arizona, he was pitching and not just throwing.
Well, everything has not gone right for the defending world champion Royals. They start play tonight a game under 500, even with their win last night. They had to put 2 starters on the disabled list, so an old face and a familiar friend goes for the Royals in game 2 tonight.
Dylan G knows the Braves. The Braves certainly know him. He's made 17 starts against the Atlanta Braves in his career, all with the New York Mets. And his last outing was in relief for the Royals, 5+ innings of relief for Chris Young, and he pitched real well. Only gave up 1 run against the Yankees, and that earned him his start tonight. 17 career starts against the Braves, 6-5, and a good ERA. But last year he got knocked around by Atlanta. Let's hope they can continue that kind of work against him tonight.
Well, it's a beautiful night for baseball. It's G and Foltynewicz. Braves pitching's been outstanding. Let's see if Atlanta can get some offense working here in game 2 of the series. Atlanta's pitching youth movement continues tonight. We'll talk about that, and we'll have more for you right after this.
Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, and the Georgia Lottery.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again, maybe 26, 27 times. There are a lot of reasons to watch these Atlanta Braves. My personal favorite, the pitching staff. I want to see these young guys develop, and let's also face it, a lot of trades have been centered around the pitching. One of those guys taking the hill tonight, Mike Foltynewicz, coming off the best start he's had, 7 innings, and you look tied his career high in strikeouts with 8. Julio Teheran, Matt Whistler, and Williams Perez also throwing fantastic, as you see in those last 7 games. I'm going to tell you right now, teams that I've played for, you have to have the back-end starting pitching to have a good team. Everyone usually has a 1 and 2. I'm looking at Julio. I'm looking at Whistler. The key for me is Folty and Williams Perez coming around to shape up this rotation. Yes, I like the way this is going, and I think it could be the secret to turn in this season. More Braves, Royals coming up next.
will change the way you experience sports. Is sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Kansas City is one of America's great baseball towns. It's also one of America's great eating towns. And my partner was so famous as a Royal that they named a barbecue spot after him. That's world famous Oklahoma Joe's BBQ here in Kansas City. And the line is perpetually out the door.
I'm glad you like it.
Awesome.
I hope you like the burned in sandwich.
Like all of it. Look at me.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful night for baseball, and another big crowd gathering in Kansas City tonight for Ned Yost bobblehead night. Braves try to even up the series. The Royals try to get back to 500. We talked about Dylan G. We talked about Kansas City's defense, which is normally exceptionally good. Last night, Alex Gordon made his first error in almost 2 years, which was a sight to behold on a terrible night to try to catch the ball in the outfield. Windy conditions. It's a much more comfortable night, I'm sure, for the hitters and for the fielders tonight.
A much nicer night. We're starting an hour earlier, too. That helps a little bit with a little more temperature. Dylan G is now 30 years old, 6'1", 205 out of Cleburne, Texas. 21st round draft pick by the Mets in 07. His numbers against the Braves were terrific up until last year. In 3 games against the Braves last year, they wore him out. Maybe they figured out something about the guy who throws in the low 90s, has a curveball, change, and slider.
Nick Markakis leads off the Atlanta batting order. Virtually the same lineup tonight, except A.J. Pierzynski's in there for the Braves. And let's see if Nick can get going again. He's had a cool spell at the plate, was hitless last night. And he fouls the first one out away, and we're underway. .60 degrees, winds out of the west, 12 miles an hour. And hardly a cloud in the sky. A bouncing ball towards short. Alcides Escobar's got it. And there's the first out of the game. Here's Ender Inciarte. Braves still waiting for his bat to come to life. Ender's just 3 for 25 since he's come off the disabled list. And batting .152 for the year. Last time out, as Joe mentioned, Dylan G pitched in long relief for Kansas City through 68 pitches over 5 1/3 innings. Ned Yost was quoted in the paper today saying they can get him to 70, maybe 80 pitches tonight. Something in that range is where they'd like Dylan G to end up.
He's never been a big strikeout pitcher, guy who pitches to contact, pretty good command. So those 70 or 80 pitches, he can really stretch out over several innings if he can get some early contact. Always a good curveball. There's one of them.
2 balls and a strike. You can understand the business decision, the baseball decision that the Mets made with regards to Dylan G. With all the talent that New York has in their rotation, they had 5 guys better than he is. And that's hit towards center. And Lorenzo Cain twists and turns, makes the catch in the bright sunshine. There's out number 2. Aren't too many guys that are going to crack a rotation that has Matz and Syndergaard and Matt Harvey, Zach Wheeler, Noah Syndergaard. I mean, you can understand how Dylan G would find himself the odd man out in that staff. That's
he and Jonathan Neese too.
Yeah.
As those young guys made their way to the big leagues, Neese and G were out of a job.
We'll see Jonathan Neese in a series coming up in Pittsburgh.
First inning's been a problem for the Royals. They've given up 30 runs in the first inning. That's the second most in baseball to Houston. But the Braves blanked yesterday in the first and 2 outs here in the first today.
A rare offer for Freddie Freeman last night. But that doesn't tell the whole story. He hit a ball an absolute ton last night into the teeth of the wind and left. And it was an easy out. But any other time that might have been a long home run.
Yeah, would have tied the game. And he's also the guy that hit the ball to deep left center that Gordon misplayed.
Dylan G ready for his 11th pitch. And it skipped up there for a full count. Freeman's seen Dylan G a lot. 9 hits in 37 at bats, including a couple of homers. And he'll try to reach in front of Kelly Johnson. And he will do just that. 2-out walk keeps the inning alive. Kelly had a hit last night. His bat's coming to life. He's hitting .297 over his last 15 games. Almost hit his first home run here last night.
About as close as you can come without it going over the fence.
There's a strike. That number gives you some hope against the Royals righty. Bounce to the right side. That will be easy. And Dylan G has very little trouble in the first. He pitched around Freddie Freeman, and the Royals are coming up against Fulte next. First inning here in Kansas City, and it's time for Mike Foltynewicz. He is back in action after a dominant performance in his last start for the Braves.
I wanted to show these numbers tonight that he's going to snap. In his career, he's never won a game. In interleague play, he's never won a game. Interleague play, 4 starts, 7 ERA. Those are out the window. He's going to put a win in the column on both of those tonight. And his 4 keys to pitching success, well, Phoenix, Kansas City, same thing. You know, doesn't matter. Just keep doing what you did against Phoenix. It'll work just as well in Kansas City. And command the zone. Do what he did against Arizona, which was get ahead in the count and really dictate. And when he needed to go to 97 or 98, he had it in reserve.
I like the Phoenix and Kansas City comparison because barbecue's a specialty in Arizona as well. You just don't need a grill. Line drive to center on the first pitch, and Malik Smith makes the play.
No, you don't. And it's mostly humans that are getting barbecued out there.
Here's a look at how the Braves line up defensively. Hopefully Francoeur and Inciarte won't have any leather issues tonight. Beckham and Freeman on the infield corners. Ibar and Johnson up the middle, and AJ is behind the plate. 1 pitch, 1 out takes care of Escobar. Lorenzo Cain's coming up, riding an 8-game hitting streak. Three of Cain's 5 homers came in 1 game on the just completed Royals road trip. That was in New York against the Yankees. And that one's muscled over first. A base hit with 1 out. That's a bummer.
Yeah, 96 on this pitch. Good location, as we say many times. Good pitch, not a good result. Just fought it off.
So it's 9 games in a row with a hit for Lorenzo Cain. The old saying, he couldn't have thrown it out there any more effectively is probably true there. So Foltynewicz to the stretch, and Eric Hosmer, the fine first baseman for KC, is coming up.
So far from Mike in his first 11 innings of work, just 2 walks. That's a vast improvement over last year.
There's a strike at 96. 1-1 your count. The Royals will try to steal a base. They showed that last night. Cain's not afraid to get in on the base stealing fun. He's stolen 4 bags this year. He's not getting a very big lead here with Hosmer up.
I threw that ball over there, and then he realized the sun is right in Freddie Freeman's eyes. He double checked to make sure he could see okay. One of the things Foltynewicz did in Atlanta against Arizona also was he slowed down a little bit. He reminded himself to take a breath and not work at warp speed like he did in New York.
Another pretty pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You're right. In New York, Foltynewicz was throwing a pitch about every 13 seconds. If you get in a rush against this bunch, they will put a hurting on you.
They will rush you out of here.
Yes. And the runner goes. The throw is not in time. Cain slid to the outfield side of the second base bag and was able to elude the tag. A.J. Brzezinski thought he was interfered with by Hosmer, and Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and talk with Ed Hickox about that.
He was. A.J. had to double clutch because Hosmer fell across home plate. It was a delayed steal by Lorenzo Cain, and somehow able to keep his hand on the base. But look at Hosmer as he's walking across the plate. A.J. double pumped.
So it's a stolen base, the 27th steal for the Royals that ties them with the Red Sox, believe it or not, for second in the American League. The Astros have stolen the most bases in the junior circuit. And an RBI chance for Hosmer now with a 2-2 count, 1 out. And foul to third.
Okay, well, Fulton-Evans was due a break on one after that flare by Kane. That one was just foul. But again, right in on Hosmer.
Here comes another 2-2 pitch. Kendrys Morales waits on deck.
Hosmer walked 3 times last night. They don't like giving him opportunities to drive in runs because he rarely misses those chances. Morales, on the other hand, has been struggling.
Bouncing ball left side. That's through for a hit. Kane played it safe, was breaking back toward the second base bag. He'll stop at third. And the Royals have a bloop and an opposite field single with 1 out. And runners at first and third.
Again, not hit hard, just hit in the right place. Fought that off. Rolled it through.
Isn't this going to be an interesting matchup in this regard? Fulton-Evans is a strikeout pitcher. The Royals as a team are not a strikeout team.
They put it in play. His first inning in his career. 15 runs allowed, 347 average. A little more trouble here tonight. Needs a ground ball.
Morales is their team leader in double plays. He's hit 7 of them. All of them from this side of the plate. No balls at a strike. And Hosmer just got picked off. He was dancing around at first and got picked off.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to go and took a little hop. And when he took that hop, Fulton-Evans threw over right there. And while the tag was high, I'm not sure his hand got back to the base. Mike Estabrook bringing him up.
And the Royals are going to challenge this call at first base.
Well, there was no argument from Rusty Kuntz, the first base coach.
He may not have been able to see it. Look at Rusty standing with his hand over the bill of his cap trying to see in that bright sunshine. So here's where you hope again the old not enough evidence to change the call helps Mike Fulton-Evans here in the first inning.
Mike Estabrook had a real good look at it. He did not have the sun in his eyes. It's like Hosmer was trying to get a walking lead. That one's inconclusive because you can't tell when his hand hit the bag, so I doubt that they're going to overturn this. I haven't seen anything to give them reason to.
And of course that would dramatically change the inning. If he's out, that would be the second out of the inning. Now Fulton-Evans will just play catch with A.J. Brzezinski and try to stay loose and in the flow of the game. Again, I don't mind the idea of replay, but if pitching coaches only have 30 seconds to talk with their pitcher in a run-saving situation, got to keep the replays a minute or less. Can't have a decisive view, then too bad. And that call will stand. Hosmer's picked off.
Big out for Fulton-Evans.
Mike may have picked up something from Julio Teheran.
Could have. Plus, when you throw 98 over to first base, that helps too.
So runner at third, 2 outs now. And strike 1 to Morales, and now strike 2 as that's hit into the upper deck foul. The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out, and Mike Foltynewicz blows a 97-mile-an-hour fastball by the Royals' designated hitter. He pitches around first and third with one out, a pickoff, and a strikeout. Sends us to inning number 2. For Jeff Francoeur in Kansas City. Remember, Jeff was a Kansas City Royal beginning in 2011, and he had a gigantic year that year for a Royals team that was, frankly, Joe, in almost the exact same position the Braves franchise is in right now.
Yeah, he had a big season. Oh, look at that. Wow. What a catch.
$20 homers, 22 steals in 2011. Jeff also had 47 doubles that year.
What a season.
And he leads off the Braves' second scoreless game and bounces it foul. Jeff did have a chance to get together with Eric Hosmer and Alex Gordon last night here in Kansas City. And Jeff was commenting about what I mentioned a moment ago in the papers today, that Dylan G just struck him out. It was difficult going through all the losing at the major league level, but you knew what was coming. And when those guys got here, they just needed a chance to get playing time, grow up, and learn how to play at this level.
Well, you just made a good point. They were given time to come up here, get some experience under their belt. It wasn't immediate for some of them. Took Moustakas a little longer, took Gordon a little longer, but they came up here and learned how to play and learned how to compete at this level.
Royals outfield that year was Jeff Francoeur in right, Melky Cabrera in center, and Alex Gordon in left. Gordon, a converted infielder. All three of those players had 40 or more doubles. One ball, one strike for A.J. Pierzynski, the Braves catcher. He's 3 for 3 in his career against Dylan G. And a liner off the glove of Hosmer. A.J. stopped. G can't get there in time. The throw was wild. And Salvi Perez picks it up by the Kansas City on deck circle. What in the world happened there?
Well, A.J.'s not the only one that stopped. Dylan G stopped too. So it's kind of hard to hit the pitcher sprinting to the bag. And Hosmer threw it behind him. Dylan G never moved. It was too late. They scored a hit, as they should have.
That's the first hit of the game for the Braves. That brings up Gordon Beckham, who's picked up hits in 3 straight games. And a strike. Gordon's up to 324 on the year. He's knocked in 6 runs. It's been a rough start for Eric Hosmer. He's gotten picked off first, and he missed the line drive off the bat of A.J. Brzezinski. That's a nice stop. And 1 ball, 2 strikes. If you hit, you're going to play. I think is a pretty safe way to describe the state of Atlanta's lineup construction right now.
Yeah, especially with the DH. Got an extra bat you could put in there. Don't have to platoon quite as much.
Ground ball toward Cologne. He'll go to second for 1. Escobar glides across the bag and completes the double play throw to first. No runs, a hit. We head to the home second, no score.
Braves Royals 0-0, bottom of the second. Let's talk a little Ned Yost, the Royals all-time winning manager, passing Whitey Herzog. You see it right there, 485, Dick Hauser, Tony Muser, my former coach on that list, and John Wathan. But let's just talk about the real thing. You know, when you get your debut, it's pretty good, and then when you get your first baseball card, that's even better. But this is when you've arrived. You get your own bobblehead. Look at that moving around. Ned's got a little gray hair. He's got his wedding ring on here. But look at this. He's way too happy sitting on that bench. And I say this, Chip and Joe, guys, we can't let him pull off a win the night he gets his bobblehead. Let's spoil it.
Absolutely.
Back to you.
You bet. Good call, Paul. Turn that bobblehead facing away from the field, too.
Yeah.
Just put it in the corner.
How about right up here?
Perfect.
It'll be gone in an inning.
Alex
We'll
Gordon
find out.
takes a strike, 1-1 your count. This is the second time Ned Yost has had a bobblehead, and he joked about it in the papers. He said, you know, the first one I wasn't real happy with because he said it had too much gray hair and it didn't really look like me. This one's hit towards center. Ned was very happy with this particular model. He said the gray hair is still there, but this bobblehead makes me look thin, which I like. So
it's a good rendition because that's the way Ned sits in the dugout oftentimes, with his legs crossed.
And, you know, I was talking with Mike Swanson, the terrific PR man for the Royals, about the evolution of Ned Yost as a major league manager. Went through some tough times in Milwaukee. Was let go with 2 weeks in regular season play as they were about to go to the playoffs for the first time. He was a very emotional manager, very tense manager. Took a year off and then came to Kansas City, and I don't want to use the word mellowed because that's sort of a negative connotation for a manager, but from a personality standpoint, trusting his coaches, believing in the process, involving everyone else, delegating authority. Mike said he is a different manager now and a different man now. As that ball is crushed toward left field, by Salvi Perez, and Malik Smith slams into the wall, can't hang on. He's down on a knee as he slammed into the fence. Perez at second with a one-out double.
I'm really surprised that ball stayed in the ballpark. The wind's blowing across again tonight from left toward right. So when I was tracking Malik Smith, I was really surprised that he was going to have a play on this long run. And he actually got a glove on it as he was crashing into that chain link portion of the fence. Boy, I don't know how Major League Baseball allows chain link fence to be used in Major League ballparks. Too dangerous.
Chesler Cuthbert takes up and in. Braves many years ago had a very talented young outfielder by the name of Brian Asselstein, who at the old stadium in Atlanta got tangled up in the chain link fence and tore up his knee, and he was never the same.
For all intents and purposes, it ended Bobby Valentine's playing career in Anaheim. Same thing.
Bouncing ball out towards second, slowly hit, and Cuthbert is retired for the second out. Perez to third, and Christian Colon is coming up. Colon, a #1 draft pick, and he is a big part of the Royals' future. In fact, he and Omar Infante are starting to split time at second base. Colon hitting .282 with 3 RBIs this year. He's out of Puerto Rico, and he's 27 years old today. Way high to him, 1 ball, no strikes.
Taken in the same draft as Foltynewicz. 3 picks ahead of Mike. 2010.
Perez at third after a 1-out double. And a ground out by Cuthbert, and that's high. Breaking ball that didn't break.
Saw him blowing on his hands, trying to get a little better for the field on the ball too. Conveniently wild's not a bad thing when you throw 97.
Two balls and a strike. And he paints the edge. Pretty pitch. Let's see what AJ cooks up. Wants another fastball outside. Blown. Fouled it away.
That was one of those pitches that he used effectively against Arizona. Reach back for a little extra. That bumped that one up to 97. Colon just barely fouled, tipped it.
Swing and a miss. What a wicked breaking ball. Perez left stranded at third base. Mike Foltynewicz is pitching again, and pitching well in Kansas City. score as we head to inning number 3. That's because Mike Foltynewicz has left 2 Royals standing at third base in the first 2 innings.
Brave starters the last 7 games, 2.68 ERA, barely a base runner per inning, and pitching into the 7th. That's great. The bottom line there, or next to the bottom, if you will, a run support, is why they're not all putting W's on the board.
So Dylan G back to work for his 3rd inning tonight. 24 pitches, 16 strikes. He's thrown strike 1 to 6 of the first 7 he has faced. And the 8th batter on the lineup card is Mallex Smith. He'll get things started here in the 3rd. Mallex laid down a sacrifice last night and looks for his first hit of the series. A bunt, and it's a beauty. Put it in your pocket. Mallex Smith lays down a bunt to get things started in the Atlanta 3rd.
Just because they're playing in does not mean you can't still drop a bunt down, especially when it's the quality of that one. Make it base hit or make it foul. Well, that was softened beautifully. No matter who was playing in, they weren't going to get him.
So Mallex does have his first hit of the series. Let's see if Freddie Gonzalez challenges Salvador Perez, who's one of the best catch and throw receivers in baseball. Here's Eric Ibar. Ibar also a very good bunter. Let's see what he's got in mind with the first pitch. They've got Smith picked off. And Mallex is tagged out by Alcides Escobar.
Huge lead. And a huge lead with a flinch, you're pretty much sunk. You better hope they throw it away.
1-3-6 the scoring on the pickoff. That empties the bases. 1 out now. And Ibar pops it up. Escobar drifts out at short. He'll give way to Gordon in left. And there's the 2nd out of the inning. That'll bring up Nick Markakis. He'll be the DH again tonight. Nick 0 for 5 in the series. Ground ball to short got his night started at the plate. Way inside for Nick. 2 balls and a strike.
Changing speeds, turning the ball over a little bit. A 2-seamer with some sink on it. Curveball, change up.
Strike 3 froze Markakis, who thought that pitch was low. 7 pitches for Dylan G. A pickoff helped his cause. 9-1-2 up for the Royals. We head to the home 3rd. No score. Ready for inning number 3. Paulo Orlando leads off for the Royals. Orlando last night, 3 strikeouts. Again, he is not just rearing back and throwing fastball after fastball, is he?
Well, and I credit A.J. Brzezinski for it. A lot of first pitch breaking balls kind of get everybody off balance when they're sitting on the fastball. Orlando's a big guy, 6'2", 210, out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Seems to me I remember Dale Murphy talking about Brazil as a future hotbed for baseball.
The great athletes that play soccer are being.
There's just not enough teams, not enough places for people to go play soccer in Brazil. He was down there on a MLB goodwill trip doing clinics, and he said, just watch, someday Brazil's going to emerge as one of the great baseball hotbeds for talent.
One-two pitch is in the air to left, and that'll drop for a base hit. And Cincinnati over quickly, cuts it off. Orlando at first to start the Royals' 3rd. 4th hit for Kansas City. And we go back to the top, and Alcides Escobar.
And the second one on what was a pretty good pitch. It was a breaking ball, but it stayed in, and he was fooled. Hit it off the end of the bat, but got a base hit out of it.
That's bounced foul past 3rd. Escobar's having a nice month. He's got a hit in 11 of his 12 games in May. He's batting .333 in that stretch. And as we mentioned last night, has a very long hitting streak in interleague play. It currently stands at 9 consecutive games against National League pitchers. This guy's a good player.
When the Brewers traded him in the deal that brought Greinke from Kansas City to Milwaukee, one of the things that was considered, and Escobar was already in the big leagues and playing pretty well. The Brewers had Segura ready behind him.
Bunted behind the plate. AJ is there, and he'll make the play.
That was not easy. Good quick turn and hustle by AJ to get there. Found it quickly. Nice catch.
And that's out number 1. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Short lead at first for Orlando, and Cain takes a strike. Broken bat. Bounding ball to 3rd. Back to the second one. A quick turn and dug out by Freddie Freeman. How about that slick twin killing?
That was a nice turn by Kelly.
Good defense behind Mike Foltynewicz. Beckham to Johnson to Freeman. Kansas City out of luck in the 3rd, but go to the 4th. Scoreless duel through 3 innings. Let's take a look at our Toyota key plays tonight.
Well, we're going to have a couple of pickoffs, one for each side. Eric Hosmer was a big out with no one out yet, first and third. Excuse me, one out, first and third in the first inning. He got nailed, made it a little easier for Fulton-Evans to get out of the inning. And then after a nice leadoff bunt single by Malik Smith, he was caught dead to rights when it looked like he was going also.
So here in the Braves' fourth, Ender Inciarte will get things started. He's flied out tonight and takes a strike.
Braves are not taking many pitches. 8 of the 10 batters so far have been retired on 4 pitches or less. It's kind of the story last night too.
And an opposite field hit for Inciarte gets the 4th inning started.
He needed that. Been just 3 for his last 26.
Well, a favorable wind blowing for Freddie Freeman toward right. G walked him with 2 outs in the first inning. Last time the Braves had a home run that was not a solo home run was April 10th. In fact, 8 of their 9 team homers have been solo shots. Came off the bat as Freeman didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike. Inciarte got a huge jump. Freeman swings and misses, and Perez still got Inciarte.
The Mets, excuse me, the Royals updated their notes tonight on Salvador Perez. He has now caught 13 of 23 base stealers. That's outstanding.
Looked to me like Inciarte got a great jump, but he couldn't outrun the baseball, and now it's a full count for Freeman with 1 out. Kelly Johnson waits on deck. Scoreless game, 4th inning. Freddie didn't get it. 3rd strikeout for G. 2 outs.
He got one by him earlier in the count, swing and a miss on a cutter that ran in on him. That looked like a cut fastball that was kind of on the outside part of the plate.
That's a little low, and the count now even. So Dylan G, who struggled mightily against the Braves last year, so far tonight is pitching like he did before last year when he was a Met.
Yeah, last year the last start he made for the Mets was against the Braves, and he didn't get out of the 4th inning. Gave up 8 runs. His teammates came back, took him off the hook, and actually won the game.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes for Kelly Johnson.
the top end on his fastball, 91.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dylan G gives him 4 through 4 innings. Here in Kansas City, and that leads us to our Greatness Made Here feature, brought to you by Synovus, the bank of here.
We talked last night about how similar these two guys are. Take a look since 2011, batting average almost identical. Freddie's got more homers than RBIs. Same age. Hosmer's picked up some hardware for his defensive work. Freddie, a 2-time All-Star. Boy, 2 P's right there.
Hosmer singled and was picked off, and he jumps on the first pitch, pops it into shallow left, and Ciarte is there, and he makes the play for out number 1. Might be noticing on the Braves and Royals uniforms there are some play ball patches. This is Major League Baseball's Play Ball Weekend initiative. There are youth clinics all around Major League Baseball. All 30 clubs are trying to engage young fans and celebrate the continued support of youth participation in baseball and softball. Players, coaches, and managers are wearing specially made play ball t-shirts during batting practice. The Braves had their gray shirts on during BP today. And it's an extension of the Play Ball initiative, which launched last year, which is one of Rob Manfred, the baseball commissioner's pet projects, to re-engage America's youth with our great pastime.
I hope it works.
A shot into shallow right. Andres Morales hit it right into the shift, and Kelly Johnson was there for the second out.
Even at that distance away from home plate, as scalded as that baseball was, Kelly Johnson is almost, and I don't blame him, it's like, oh no, I got to catch this. I don't have time to back up and play it on a hop.
Better there than 40 feet closer.
Yes.
It's quickly 2 outs in the Royals' 4th. There was a stat online today that absolutely blew my mind. 2011 in Major League Baseball, there were a total of 2,350 defensive shifts. Total. You know what the pace is this year?
No.
30,000 defensive shifts. It's been noticeable how much more frequently the Braves have shifted, and they haven't been beaten by it all that often.
Other than Hosmer's in the first inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Alex Gordon. You wonder why offense seems to be down. The defense has certainly made things tougher with all the shifting going on. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Foltynewicz is pitching a beauty. 9 pitches gets him to the 5th inning. No score. For the 5th inning, still no score. I mentioned all the shifting that's going on in Major League Baseball, and again, the Braves have joined that trend.
Already this year, a lot more than last year. And I'm sure that there are volumes of information on each hitter that lead a team to overplay a guy a certain way. Especially left-handed hitters tend to be more dead pull hitters. But just because that information works and the tendencies are proven doesn't mean they're all right in terms of all of the statistical stuff.
Isn't it predicated on the pitcher making the right pitch?
Oh, sure, you can't pitch against it.
Right. Jeff's chased that pitch twice. This time he fouled it off. And he'll get another swing against Dylan G. There was some talk in the spring how some folks want to see shifting banned altogether because it's stifled offense so dramatically, it seems. Don't know if that'll ever happen.
Changed his eye level. Threw that one up out of the zone. Now they'll probably go back to the breaking ball again.
There you go. He couldn't check his swing. Francoeur's retired, and Dylan G has punched out 3 in a row and 4 of the last 5 hitters.
Braves are making him feel pretty good about himself. They're making Ned Yost feel pretty good about his choice for the replacement start tonight.
And for a man that's going to be in the 70 to 80 pitch range, he's thrown 51 pitches, and he's got his first out in the 5th inning. Remember, the Royals right before this series had to put Chris Young and Chris Medlin on the disabled list, 2/5 of their starting rotation. So G gets one of the starts tonight. Danny Duffy's going to pitch tomorrow afternoon, and Kane takes care of AJ. There's the second out.
That appeared to be a cutter that AJ wasn't going to let him get away with, but it still got in on him. No, that was actually a 2-seamer that ran back.
Gordon Beckham hit into a double play. That ended the second. Strike one.
Dylan G, after he was designated for assignment by the Mets, went to their AAA club at Las Vegas and pitched pretty well. 14 starts, he went 8-3. Had a high ERA, but not so high by Pacific Coast League standards. So maybe that work helped him get back on track.
Ground ball left side. Nice pick. Cuthbert takes care of Gordon Beckham, and Dylan G is rolling along. No score. Bottom of the fifth. Okay, Andre, thank you very much. Excellent pitching from Dylan G and Mike Foltynewicz so far. Foltynewicz has thrown 45 pitches in his first 4 frames. He has struck out 3 men. Hardest hit ball came off the bat of the man that greets him here in the 5th. That's their catcher, Salvador Perez. And he hits another one hard that Malik Smith will play on a hop. Perez had a big hit late in the game last night. He hasn't stopped hitting since. He's 2 for 2 tonight. That's a good start to the Royals.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he just missed a home run in the 2nd inning and somehow got on top of that 94 fastball. That was collarbone high.
So Cheslor Cuthbert is the man in the box. We've talked a lot about how the Royals have turned their fortunes around with great drafts after bad years. They've made some excellent trades. They also spent very, very well and wisely in the international free agent market. Cuthbert is one of those men. They got him out of Nicaragua. It took him a long time to get here, but he's only 23 years old. Got his first taste of the big leagues last season, played 19 games. He's the son of a lobster fisherman.
And what's the name of his hometown?
Corn Island, Nicaragua. And that international draft is another area where the Braves plan to be very aggressive as they build for the future. It's outside from Fulte. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
International signing date, I think, is July 2nd, July 3rd.
Perez has a very short lead at first, and Foltynewicz gets a fly ball to center. Alex Smith backpedals and makes the play. Cuthbert's retired for the 2nd time, 1 out. And here's Colon again. He struck out to end the 2nd. Julio Teheran pitched a beautiful game. As Freddie Gonzalez said of his work last night, you couldn't ask for anything more. Mike Foltynewicz doing the same tonight. And after his last start, where he gave up 5 hits in 7 innings and didn't walk anybody, Foltynewicz tonight threw 4 1/3, 5 hits, no walks. And he's going to get a double play ball to short. Kelly Johnson will turn it. Low throw. Freeman can't handle it. The ball bounces into the camera well. So Atlanta forces Perez. Colon's going to reach. And there are 2 out.
Kelly rushed this one a little bit. Didn't have a whole lot on the throw and pulled it too far out of the way for Kelly or for Freddie to be able to short hop it. And then his glove kind of helped it catapult over the railing.
Plays that have to be made have not been made consistently. That keeps the inning alive for Paulo Orlando. One of 2 Brazilians in the major leagues. Yan Gomes is the other, and a strike. Orlando's getting a lot of playing time because Gerard Dyson has been slumping so badly at the plate. And Foltynewicz has been a strike throwing machine. We're told he's thrown strike 1 to 10 straight Kansas City hitters. And it hasn't been all fastballs.
Well, and again, it goes back to commanding the strike zone and being able to then use all of your weapons and put hitters away like he did against Arizona if he wants to rear back and give it a little extra.
Orlando's thinking about going to first base. The ball hit him on the hand, and it looked like Ed Hickox was saying foul ball, and that might be the call here. Yep, foul ball. He's not going to get to first base on the hit by pitch.
That looked like the knob of the bat. It may have gotten some batting glove in the process, but good angle here. Nope, that was wrist. Out of reviews though.
So Orlando, with a very sore wrist, will have to dig back in against Foltynewicz, down 2 strikes. As we've seen all night, Foltynewicz has not been afraid to buzz the tower inside. And that one got the Royals right fielder on the wrist, but Mike got the call. That's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second. 2 outs.
and still hurting.
I don't know how he can grip the bat, to be honest with you. Mike didn't like that offering. Count even now, 2-2.
Something softer here. Curveball off the plate.
He thought he had him struck out. Foltynewicz was walking toward the Braves dugout.
I thought he did too. It's almost like a backup slider. I don't know what was wrong with that.
Full count pitch. Pickoff play, and just back safely is Cologne. Popped up and out of play beyond the Kansas City dugout.
There was the slow curve. I would have personally liked to have seen it the pitch before, so that you had the 3-2 count to come back with a little extra on the fastball if you needed.
Quite a battle here with Paulo Orlando. Good idea for Mike to step off.
Yeah, take his time.
Out to make his 10th pitch of the at bat. In the air center. Malik Smith on the run. Still going, and tumbles onto the track and makes the grab. Orlando gave it a ride, and Malik Smith tracked it down to preserve a tie. No score. We head to inning number 6. Malik Smith will lead off. And Malik Smith's speed allowed him to track down that deep fly off the bat of Paulo Orlando. The wind kept pushing the ball away from him, and he made a tumbling catch on the warning track to keep Mike Foltynewicz and the Braves in a scoreless tie.
Yeah, with the wind pushing it away from him, and he was playing fairly shallow. That was a good run-saving catch.
Malix has a bunt single already tonight. Tried it again and fouled it away for a strike.
Still no drag bunt attempts. No drag bunt threats. It may be that he's just not confident dragging it to first base with him.
That's down the right field line. That ball is fair and headed for the corner. Smith on his way to second. He's going to stop there. Alex Smith is 2 for 2 with a stand-up double.
Well, the way Salvador Perez is throwing, it's good to just go ahead and go to second base and get there that way. What a good turn on the ball by Malix there. That was right on the line.
Of course, it's the Royals' home ballpark. No problems for Paulo Orlando playing that ball in the corner, but you've done that a lot here. That does not look like an easy play.
It's not. It's not. And the fortunate part for Orlando there was that it actually hit off the wall before it got to the foul pole, so it's not going to do the wraparound.
Ibar's job gets Smith to third base here. Let's see if he can do it. Infield creeps in at the corners. He stabbed at a bunt try and didn't get it. Strike one. There's a beautiful bunt. Perez pounces, throws to first, and they just got him. The strong arm of Perez saved him there. Ibar with 101 bunt hits starting this season since the beginning of the 2007 year. Deadened that high pitch beautifully. The Braves might take a look at this one at first.
I mean, you saw Perez there not really come out from behind the plate right away. And the difference here is his arm. What an arm.
So the Braves will not challenge. Ibar was out by an eyelash on a terrific play by Perez. But Atlanta now with a golden chance to take the lead if Markakis can hit a deep fly ball. Smith at third with one out.
Yeah, got him.
A leadoff double and a sacrifice has the Braves in business. We're in the sixth. Nick Markakis leads the club with 21 RBIs. Right guy at the right time for the Braves.
And he likes the first pitch.
Six of the Braves' 8 wins have come in games in which they've scored the first run. And the way Foltynewicz is pitching, you'll take your chances with a 1-run lead. 2 balls, no strikes.
High cutter that time. Braves are swinging through that pitch a lot. Shallow their outfield is playing. For Nick Markakis, Kane and Gordon extremely shallow in left field. It's like If you hit it over our head for a double, you're going to get a double anyway, or you're going to get the run in anyway. We're going to try to take away a cheap single.
First and third, one out. G issues his second walk. Inciarte bats Ender with an opposite field single to lead off the fourth.
Now the infield will back up to play for a double play. Escobar's about halfway in though at shortstop. The outfield, those two outfielders especially, still haven't moved back. I thought with a runner at first and third they would back up a little bit, but not so.
Swing and a drive hit deep to right. Orlando on the run. Not going to get it. That's going to bounce up against the fence. Smith scores. Markakis will stop at third. Ender Inciarte doubles to right, and the Braves have struck first.
Well, that will burn the outfielders. You see where they are positioned, and you see that even Orlando is shallow for Inciarte, not respecting his hop. He gets burned, and it costs the Royals a run and maybe more with runners at second and third now.
So good to see Ender Inciarte starting to heat up. He had 3 hits in total since coming off the disabled list. He has a 2-hit night tonight.
His first RBI.
So it's 1-0 Braves here in the 6th inning. Long meeting on the mound. The Royals will intentionally walk Freddie Freeman. Luke Hochevar begins to loosen in the bullpen. And Kelly Johnson's going to have a chance to deliver a big blow with the bases loaded.
Several days we've been talking about how the Braves have been needing that one key hit, that one timely hit. This is just that type of opportunity that the Braves have been missing out on.
Kelly Johnson has 6 hits in his last 20 at bats, covering an 8-game stretch. 2 of those hits doubles. We'd love to have one of those right here. Bases loaded. 1 out. Swing and a miss.
Struck out 4 of his last 5 at bats in this series, and they're going soft, and he's having a hard time laying off. Struck out on that very same pitch his last time up.
One ball, 2 strikes. Jeff Francour's on deck. Hochevar continues to loosen in the Kansas City pen. Little flare behind the third base bag is going to drop. 2 runs are going to score. A blue pit for Kelly Johnson. It's 3-0.
That was a thing of beauty. Behind in the count. Shortened his swing and just tried to put the ball in play. A little Ric Flair to left.
And Inciarte flew around the third base bag, and that's the last pitch of the night for Dylan G, who departs after 77 pitches. Fulte and the Braves have a 3-run lead. Thousand fans in attendance Saturday, May 28th will receive the giveaway of the year, a Chipper Rescues Freddy ATV bobblehead. You don't want to miss it. Go to Braves.com/tickets and get your seats today. Well, how about the Braves offense? They've chased Dylan G here in the top of the 6th inning. 3 runs are across, and they're not done yet, but now they'll take on Luke Hochevar.
Luke Hochevar's had an outstanding result with inherited runners. He's inherited 15 runners this year and only 1 has scored. That's the 6th best mark in the major leagues. Mid-90s fastball. Cuts it. Has a curveball.
He'll face Jeff Francoeur.
Hochevar missed all of the 14 season with Tommy John surgery and has pitched real well in this ballpark since he came back almost 1 year ago to the day.
No balls and a strike. This is an interesting matchup. We have been told that Jeff Francoeur, who's a former Royal, saw a lot of these youngsters coming up through their system. Jeff is actually a guest at Hochevar's house during this series.
Well, they'll have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, they will.
Who wins this?
No balls, 2 strikes. And popped up shallow center. Here comes Lorenzo Cain. He's going to get there. That's the 2nd out. Hochevar from Knoxville, Tennessee.
He was a #1 pick, wasn't he? 1st round pick.
He was number one in 2006. Luke now 32 years old. And he'll stare down A.J. Przinsky, who has an infield hit and a fly out tonight. 3-0, Braves lead it. Hochevar pitched 5 scoreless innings in the World Series and won a game against the Mets. That is cut on and missed. It gets by Perez, and the runners will move up. So Freeman's at third, Kelly Johnson's at second. That's passed ball.
I guess it kind of had to be since AJ swung at it.
And now they've changed that scoring to a wild pitch.
Because it was in the dirt. Truck tells us these are the first runs the Braves have scored in support of Mike Foltynewicz while he's been in the game.
Nasty cutter. AJ didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mike trying for his first win of the year, trying for his first career road win. He's got 3 runs to play with. Hochevar was drafted as a starting pitcher for the Royals. As a starter in the big leagues, never had a winning record. They put him in the bullpen in 2013 and he took off. And a swing and a miss gets Brzezinski, and Hochevar puts out the fire. But a great inning for the Atlanta offense. They score 3 times for Mike Foltynewicz.
Back, Braves up 3-0, bottom of the 6th. And if you are like me and wanting to see some payoff from some of these trades, get excited. How about those starters in the last 7 games? Folty doing the job tonight. Whistler, Julio Teheran, your ace. And I got to tell you guys, I said it earlier, important part of a rotation is the back end, the 3, 4, and 5 guys. A lot of people have the 1 and 2s. Mike Foltynewicz doing the job tonight. How about that, guys? No walks, 3 strikeouts, and as a former pitcher, what gets me really excited is when you can throw the ball 98 miles an hour, but you pitch at 94, 95. Back to you, Chip and Joe.
Isn't that a great thing to watch, Paul? It's been outstanding. 11 straight strike ones, too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
First pitch strikes.
And I'm not just looking at the goose egg on Kansas City's board, because you can throw the ball really hard and throw down the middle and it just work out for you sometimes. But he has increased focus. He is not overthrowing. The only time I see him overthrowing is when it's 0-2 or 1-2, which is perfectly fine to do. So he's pitching, and then he's knowing when to step on the gas, hit the brakes, and Roger McDowell, as he just showed earlier, has got to be super excited about what he's seeing out of one of these young power arms.
Question, Paul, after this pitch. Wouldn't you think that by having the success he had against Arizona and pitching the way he did by not having the accelerator all the way down taught him something where he has the confidence now to pitch the same way? He knows he can do that.
That's popped up behind the second base bag. Who wants it? Ibar calls off Kelly and makes the play 1 out.
Yes, I agree 100%. You almost need to come up here and fail with the game plan that's been successful, and then learn what works, and then understand that your fastball, not at maximum effort, is good enough. You have to believe that, and I've certainly seen that tonight out of him in his last start as well. Maybe those home runs he gave up in New York were the best thing that ever happened to him, because he realized, hey, I can't keep doing it. I need to make a change. But even then, not everybody can pitch. Not everybody can control the monster, take a deep breath, and hit the spot. He's showing us over the last 2 he has the ability to do that.
How about now Paul pitching with 3 runs to play with, a luxury that he hasn't had much at all since he's rejoined the Braves rotation?
I'm a little nervous, Chip. He hadn't been there before. But
right?
Yeah, there is when you get a little lead. I certainly like the fact that he does have a little breathing room. And then how about this? You know, when he's lost the grip a little bit tonight, or thrown the ball high or up and in and knocked some people down, even Orlando hitting him on the wrist, I like his body language.
Me too, Paul.
He didn't look around and act like, I didn't mean to do that. And that's a huge sign for me, because I've always taught younger pitchers, rookies, hey, maybe you meant to throw the ball halfway up the backstop. Maybe you meant to knock him down. Don't ever give him an edge by showing body language that you didn't mean to do that.
There have not been many comfortable at-bats for the Royals tonight. He had Kane on his heels and just struck him out looking. That's 4 strikeouts for Foltynewicz as he seeks a shutdown inning with a 3-run lead. This is fun to watch. Here's Hosmer. He has singled, he's been picked off, and he's popped out.
Oh, good pitch. Man.
That's a couple that Ed Hickox has missed tonight. Ground ball to second. Kelly to his right. He's got it. And Foltynewicz has a 1-2-3 shutdown frame. We're off to the 7th. Atlanta leads 3-0 in Kansas City.
is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Through 6, Atlanta leads 3-0. Hopefully we'll talk about a Atlanta win tonight. And we will have Braves Live presented by Xfinity afterwards. Andre Aldridge standing by in our Atlanta studios. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez as well as the Braves players. Mike Foltynewicz throwing a 5-hit shutout so far. And Atlanta goes to work in the 7th against left-hander Scott Alexander. And ground ball on the first pitch is into left field by Gordon Beckham, his first hit of the night.
Alexander was just called up from Omaha earlier this week, made his season debut in New York. He was last year's pitcher of the year at Omaha in their organization. Upper 80s, low 90s fastball, chip, and slider.
Sorry, Joe, he's from Pepperdine. And 26 years young. Alex Smith showed bunt, took a ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Royals AAA Farm Club, Omaha, their nickname, a great one, the Storm Chasers. Ground ball hit towards second. Cologne's gonna flip to second. That's all they'll get with Malex's good speed. 1 on, 1 out. Eric Ibar helped the Braves score their first run with a sacrifice. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting jackpot.
Great numbers here at this ballpark in 35 games. Terrific on base percentage. Left-handed pitcher. Catcher's got a great arm, kind of negates much thought of trying to steal unless you just go on the first move.
That's yanked foul past Bo Porter, the Braves third base coach. And it's 0-1 for Eric Ibar. One ball, 1 strike. If you're just joining us, Mike Foltynewicz has pitched a brilliant ball through 6 innings. 4 strikeouts, no walks. He's allowed 5 Kansas City hits. All 3 Atlanta runs came in inning number 6. Kelly Johnson with a bloop double with the bases loaded, the big blow.
Yeah, and Foltynewicz in trouble in the first inning. First and third, nobody out, and he picked off Hosmer for a huge second out and then got out of it.
With a strikeout to Kendrys Morales. He wouldn't mind a few more runs here in the 7th. Alex has a good lead. Fouled off Perez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cool, clear, crisp night in Kansas City. A beautiful day today. Home crowd a little quiet as Braves are leading Dylan G. Very late swing. That got a piece of Perez, and he's hobbling behind the plate.
Couldn't tell if it got his foot because it didn't sound like shin guard, like it hit him in the knee. Oh yeah, missed everything. Got him in the heel.
Ed Hickox will buy Perez a little more time. He'll get a couple of baseballs from the ball boy.
Ned Yost himself a catcher. Certainly understands that, and with their big guy back there, takes a lot to injure him. Nobody's even come out to check on him.
That's poked toward the Braves dugout foul. Ibar putting up a good fight here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him swinging.
He just kept going soft and softer until he backed off as far as he could to get Eric to swing and miss.
Alexander has his first strikeout. We go back to the top of the order at Nick Markakis. Nick walked and scored run number 2 of 3 last inning. Fouled away for a strike.
Inciarte snapped an 0 for 14 with his single back in the 4th inning. Nick right now is 0 for his last 13. Time to snap that, get rid of it.
Alex is running, and Markakis tried to protect him, fouled it back though. And the count 0-2. Alex will head back to first base.
I would have liked to have seen that go all the way through and see what happened, because it appeared Malik's got a real good jump.
Swing and a miss. Markakis is retired, and so are the Braves. 7th inning stretch in Kansas City. Braves trying to even up the series. They lead 3-0. It's also time for tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Pitching, and more pitching. The story for the Braves.
We talked about the last 7 games for the Braves. Starters ERA doing a great job. Relievers ERA not so much. The Braves have allowed 15 runs from the 7th inning or later in those 7 games. That's not going to happen, I hope, tonight. The Braves, when they've carried a lead into the 7th inning, they've done it 10 times. They've won 7 of those. That sounds like a great percentage. It's not. Major League average is over 80%, not 70.
So the next pitch Mike throws will be his 80th in the game. He threw 101 pitches last time out. He's been economical, as this one is lined into shallow right field for a base hit for Morales.
Made a mistake with a changeup there, just left one up.
So the Royals have the leadoff man on for the 2nd time in the last 3 innings. And that'll bring up Alex Gordon, who's 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 6 in the series. Gordon hitting .227 for the year. First pitch swing, fly ball left. Inciarte going back. Malik Smith going back. He's there. And Smith fires it back in quickly. Gordon flies out on the first pitch.
That's where this ballpark gets really big. Left center to right center. It's a long way to the fence in both of those areas, as Salvador Perez can attest when he hit that ball deep his first time up tonight, and Malik's almost caught it crashing into the fence. Malik's calling for it early.
Now remember, Perez 2 for 2 tonight, but he also fouled a ball off his heel. He doesn't have great speed anyway, so if you have a chance to turn 2, take your time and make good throws. There's the ground ball to short. Second one, plenty of time, but they took too much time. How about that? He deked everybody. Perez beats the Rapid first. The Braves are going to check it first. They may check the play at second as well.
Well, he looked safe from up here because they were slow getting rid of it. Remember, Kelly rushed himself a little bit when he tried to turn the double play last time. Threw it away. This time Perez able to beat it out.
So a couple more pitches for Fultonevich here. He's got Chesler Cuthbert up there, who's trying to extend a 7-game hitting streak. He's grounded out and he's fly to center. That's not where AJ wanted it, but it was sure effective. 2 balls and a strike. Now it's even 2-2.
Another one that was off the mark location wise, but he got away with it. As many guys can attest, when you throw mid-90s or better and you make a mistake, chances are real good you can get away with it.
Back to the mound, and Fultonevich, in self-defense, makes the play to retire the side. Mike threw 10 pitches in the 7th inning. He gives up a hit, nothing else. He's through 7 with a shutout. 3-0. Atlanta has the lead.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by Synovus, the bank of here, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Fans, follow Braves baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. It's a Leonard Skinner night for Mike Foltynewicz, a Saturday night special.
Wow.
He's dealing. No runs, 6 hits through 7.
But you're talking about his haircut.
That too.
He'll wear it any way he wants.
Well, he's pitching, you bet. As Ender Inciarte goes to work for the Braves against Alexander in the 8th. Inciarte, Freeman, Kelly, Johnson. Left-handed bats. That's why Alexander's back out there. They've got a righty working in case it gets down to Jeff Francoeur. And it's Chen-Meng Wong.
He's resurrected his career. Another opportunity at the big league level. Ciarte put a charge in one with a double back in the 6th inning to drive in a run. Short hopping the right field wall.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Three 6th inning runs is all Foltynewicz has needed to this point. And now full count. That's to second. Cologne's got it, and there's out number 1. Don't forget, May 28th is Chipper Rescues Freddy ATV Bobblehead Day. Don't miss it. Go to Braves.com/tickets. The Marlins will be in town. Marlins ran into Steven Strasburg today, and Strasburg remains undefeated. Phillies are winning again, beating the Reds 3-1 in the 6th. Aaron Nola's on the mound for Pete Maccannon's club.
Pete Maccannon's done a great job, hasn't he?
He sure has. Phillies are currently 6 games over 500 for the first time since 2011. That was a season that saw them win 102 games.
Wow.
That's inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Freeman. Phillies try to win their 6th game in 7 tries. They called up Tommy Joseph, former catcher, who, as Freeman grounds slowly to the right side, Cologne's got it, has to hurry, and Freeman beats the rap at first.
Freddie, you've heard of runners, you talk about them running the bases, and the play was in front of them, so they had the decision to make on their own as to whether or not they're going to take the extra base. This was in front of Freddie, and he could smell a hit, and he was going. He knew that he just sawed his bat off, but he knew he had a great shot at a hit.
That's his first of the game. He's aboard in front of Kelly Johnson. Kelly had the big hit. Didn't hit it hard, but dumped it over third base into shallow left. Brought home 2 runs with bases loaded.
You know what he did, though? Those off-speed pitches that he was swinging and missing at, they served him 1 too many, and he made an adjustment, put it in play.
7 RBIs for Kelly now. 1 ball, no strikes. And even count. One more game here in Kansas City tomorrow afternoon. Matt Whistler will pitch for the Braves. Then we head to Pittsburgh for 4 with the Buccos. Stop Perez. Pittsburgh lost again today. They ran into Jake Arrieta, who's now 7-0 for the year. Great stat on Jake Arrieta. In his last 27 games, as KJ didn't get it, last 27 games for Jake Arrieta, he has more no-hitters than losses.
That's a good number to file away.
2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball to Hosmer. He's got it. Second for 1. Double clutch, relay to first, and Alexander couldn't get to the bag. And that'll be the last pitch he throws. Jeff Francoeur is coming up. And a righty's getting ready in the Kansas City pen, with Atlanta already ahead 3-0. The call is made. 1 aboard, 2 outs. We're in the 8th. Memorial Day weekend at Turner Field when the Marlins and Giants come to town Friday, May 27th through Memorial Day, May 30th. Chris Stapleton will perform a post-game concert on the 29th. Go to Braves.com/tickets today. 3-0 Braves lead it. Runner at first, 2 outs. And a former Braves farmhand, Chien-Ming Wang, is on to pitch for Kansas City.
When he came in to pitch this season for the Royals, it was the first time he'd pitched in the big leagues in almost 3 years. Guy has battled tons of arm injuries, mostly shoulder related. Out of Taiwan, first Taiwanese born player to play for Kansas City.
Jeff Francoeur gets a first pitch fastball and he didn't miss it. A base hit to right. You might recall Chien-Ming Wang went to the Yankees to start his major league career, had 2 19-game winning seasons for them. In 2008 he went 8-2 and then had a terrible tendon problem in his foot. That started the string of injury problems. And in the 9 years after that 19-7 season, Chien-Ming Wang has won a total of 17 games in the major leagues.
Now I'm going to read something to you that it's hard to believe when you see it. These are consecutive seasons. DL stints, right shoulder inflammation, strained right hamstring, sprained ligament in the foot, hip abductor, right shoulder surgery, recovery from right shoulder surgery, right shoulder fatigue, strained left hamstring, strained right hip. There's like 5 or 6 more of those. Those are all different DL stints in different years.
That sounds like yours and my injury list.
Yeah, it does.
He's 20 years younger at least.
I didn't read the one on there where it says he cracked his knee on the bus getting off the bus and could barely walk to the clubhouse today.
And started crying. No balls, 2 strikes for A.J. Pierzynski, whose second inning hit was his 200th career hit against the Royals. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We talked last night about the games Beckham and Tyler Flowers have played here. A.J. with his time in the American League, a ton of games.
Swing and a drive headed for the gap in right center. That's going to get down and go to the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes Francoeur around third. Relay throw will be late. A.J. Pierzynski with a 2-hit, 2 RBI night. And the Braves have broken this game open.
When Wang came in the other night for the Royals in New York, he gave up both of his inherited runners, one by a bases loaded walk, and now he gives up an inherited runner and one of his own. Outfielders again playing shallow, split the gap. They got a long way to go to get the ball.
5-0 Atlanta in the 8th, and here's Beckham.
A good hustle by Kelly Johnson to prevent that double play kept the inning going.
As good as the Braves pitching has been, we've talked about the lack of offensive support. That's not the case tonight. Braves 3 for 5 with Risp. A lot of big hits, a lot of base runners. They've cashed in those chances, and that's allowed Mike Foltynewicz to do his thing with 7 shutout frames. When you don't score, you don't look good. When you don't catch the ball, you don't look good. Tonight, Braves have played a complete game to this point. Full count for Gordon Beckham. That double, by the way, for A.J. Pierzynski leaves him 4 away from 400 doubles in his career. He's 5 RBIs away now from 900. He's already gone over the 2,000 hit mark this year and the 2,000 game mark. Ground ball short. Escobar backhand. Long throw. And Hosmer with the stretch. And that retires the side. 2 runs, 3 hits. A.J. Pierzynski with a double to right center breaks it open. 5-0 for Fulte in the 8th. SunTrust Park season tickets are on sale now. The Battery Atlanta and SunTrust Park will soon offer the best entertainment experience in Atlanta with great dining options and boutique shops on site. Going to a Braves game will never be the same. Be a part of the excitement and get your tickets today at braves.com/SunTrust Park. We're 47 weeks until opening day next year, and SunTrust Park is on schedule to be ready to go in 17. Can't wait. We can't wait to see Fulte go to work here in the 8th. Christian Colon leads off.
And again, very economical for a power pitcher to pitch the way, and I say pitch, the way Foltynewicz has worked tonight. 89 pitches.
Bouncing ball foul. The Braves have made a defensive change. Daniel Castro is checked in to play second base. Swinging bunt back to the mound. Fulte with a bare hand gets his man. Colon's 0 for 3, 1 man down. Paulo Orlando's 1 for 2. And Mike Foltynewicz going for his first win this year. He has never won a road game in the major leagues.
Or an interleague game. 2 innings with sub 10 pitches, 2 with 9 pitches, and then 1 inning with 10 pitches. That'll cut into your total for the night when you can shorten it like that.
Surprising stat to me, at least, when I look at it on the score sheet. Assuming this score stays the way it is, if Kansas City doesn't score a run, they will suffer their 5th shutout already this year. That's headed for the seats. Foul.
Well, one of the things that made them successful last year all the way to the World Championship was that they utilized what they had. They were next to last in the American League in homers. Only the White Sox hit fewer homers. So they were a team that worked on putting the ball in play, using their speed, putting pressure on the defense, and it worked. And they did it to perfection.
Two balls, two strikes.
And when you think about it, this day and age and through the steroid era and all, our pal we saw in the press room in Atlanta recently, Steve Balboni, who's scouting now, I believe for the Giants. Steve still holds the single season home run record for the Royals, and he did it in 1985.
There's a bullet down the left field line for Paulo Orlando. He's on his way to second. He's going to throw out an anchor there with one out. A double sends the lineup card to the first spot. And Escobar's coming up.
Able to turn on that, we'll give him credit. There's that wraparound that you got to be careful on in the outfield. And Ciarte making sure the ball didn't get by him. Roger McDowell will buy some time for the bullpen that is just now beginning to move around out there, and somebody's going to get loose.
Looks like Brilliant Kroll. .98 pitches for Foltynewicz. He stranded a couple of runners at third base in the first two innings. Royals left a man at second in the fifth. So he's had men in scoring position, but it has not rattled him to this point tonight.
Balboni, by the way, 36 homers in 1985. That's the Royals record. That was a long time ago.
Escobar's hit the ball in the air 3 times. And takes a strike. It was Steve bye-bye Balboni, wasn't it?
You bet.
This is what's so exciting about Foltynewicz. He's at 100 pitches. He's in the 8th inning, and he's still throwing 96 miles an hour with seemingly very little effort.
Not too many guys can do that.
Ground ball to short. Ibar's got it. And his peg to first in time. 2 out. And here's Lorenzo Cain. Cain will take a 9-game hitting streak into play tomorrow afternoon. He was the man that was stranded at third base in the first inning. He's also hit into a double play and struck out. Strike outside corner.
You take that pitch about 70 times a night. Boy.
Ground ball up the middle. Castro knocks it down. Slips, fires, and got him. What a play.
What a play.
Daniel Castro robbed Cain on a bang-bang play at first. And the Braves are through 8 with a shutout. What a way to send this game to the ninth. Royals have no challenges left. And it's 5-0 Braves in game 2.
Back top of the ninth, Braves 5, Royals nothing. And I gotta say, Mike Foltynewicz has pitched incredible tonight. Seen him walk off the field after a hopefully called third strike, didn't get it, walked back. He's turned some double plays. He's gotten the ball back from Freddie with a little bit of attitude. It's been fantastic. And just now, walking off the field, having a conversation with the umpire. This guy is looking like he's been here all of a sudden for 10 years.
That's over the head of Kane. Malik Smith's got extra bases. He's around second. He's on his way to third. He's going to make it standing up. And that is the first triple of the season for the Atlanta Braves. The last team to go this long without a triple, the '82 Giants.
Well, and once again, the Royals outfielders getting burned. Boy, that was low. It was scalded, and you can see how shallow Kane was playing over his head. And when it gets over an outfielder's head, it's almost an automatic triple for this guy.
Infield in for Eric Ibar. By the way, Malik Smith tonight has a single, has a double, and has a triple. For the Braves, who have 11 hits.
That's good. That's good. Don't need to go extra innings to try to get the cycle.
An 11 hit night.
Hey, Paul, I was curious about his conversation he might have had with Ed Hickox coming off the mound. Any thoughts on what that might have been about?
I don't know. I just know that it looked, you know, like a pro, like a veteran would have. He was voicing something to Ed and talking about pitches. I know Ed was shaking his head back and forth, understanding there wasn't, you know, it wasn't a rough conversation or anything, but they were just explaining each other's point of view, and it was kind of neat to see. And I don't want to say that's a sign that you've arrived.
Little chopper bouncing foul at first.
But it is a sign that you're getting comfortable in your environment and you know how to approach a disagreement with an umpire. And just little things that I see out of Folty. I didn't see this last year. And so it's a, you know, it's a good sign, and I think it gives me and hopefully others hope that we're seeing a young man grow up and pitch and handle himself the way a big leaguer does.
Something else that's happened tonight that I've noticed, Paul, is just like the first inning, just like the 8th inning, which looks like it's going to be his last inning. When he got guys in scoring position, he didn't all of a sudden pull his horns in and start trying to nibble and try not to make a mistake so as not to give up a run. He stayed aggressive and he kept pounding the zone.
Right on, and that's when you can tell what a pitcher really believes when a guy gets in scoring position, and is he going to overthrow at that moment.
That's popped up, foul ground. Cuthbert long run, can't get there. It'll bounce into the seats.
And so yeah, that's another sign for me that he gets it. You know, I learned coming over to the Braves, this is the first time I'd ever learned this, but they said, hey, when you get guys on, try to throw slower, because you're going to be amped up, you're going to be ready to go, and you will naturally throw the ball harder. So try to just relax, throw the ball slower, and hit your spot. I see that tonight. And so I think you are right. He's out of the game. Everybody gave him a hug and high fives, and everybody was really excited for him. Again, growing up in front of us.
8 innings, a new career high for Foltynewicz in the big leagues. As Ibar is down on strikes, one away in the Atlanta ninth. Last 15 innings for Mike. 12 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 12 strikeouts, and he's averaged 102 pitches in those games.
No walks.
Again.
No walks again tonight.
And strike one to 19 of 29 hitters. He didn't have to strike everybody out. Again, the Royals a tough team to punch out. 4 of those for Foltynewicz, but he really pitched again in game 2 in Kansas City. So Malik Smith with a 3-hit game. He scored a run. A.J. Przinsky, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Kelly Johnson, a bases loaded hit that scored 2. Ender Inciarte, 2 hits, a run, and an RBI. All in all, excellent night for the Braves so far. And that man's great play kept the shutout bid alive for Atlanta.
Maybe hacking away here, just try to get that runner in from third.
Nick was ready to flip the bat away. 3 balls and a strike.
He doesn't mind that. May have been a borderline strike call, but he doesn't mind that. He wants the RBI.
First and third. Well, let's see if NCRT can pick up a 3-hit game. Over 36,000 in Kansas City tonight. After the Braves put their 3 spot on the board in the 8th. A lot of the Royals faithful headed for the parking lots. Five runs, 11 hits for the Braves, who've left 5 on base. Eight of the 9 Braves players have reached base at least once in the game. Ibar the only one who hasn't, but he laid down a key sacrifice. But that's not the story. Mike Foltynewicz is the story tonight. No balls and a strike for Inciarte. That's headed foul left side. 0-2. Foul passed first. We'll do it again.
I think Ender might have been sitting on that pitch. Something inside, and he was so on it that he couldn't keep it fair.
Ground ball to third. Second base one. On to first. It's in time. A double play. Boy, Cuthbert's got a nice arm, doesn't he? And around the horn double play sends our game to the bottom of the ninth. Braves try to shut out the Royals. 3 outs to get for a series evening victory for the Braves as we peek at tonight's Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber feature.
Well, this put a capper on the scoring for the Braves. Jin-Ming Wong gives up the double to A.J. Brzezinski that plated 2 big add-on runs in the 8th inning. Made it 5-0. 103 pitches for Foltynewicz in 8 innings, 74 strikes.
He was brilliant again. Now Ian Kroll takes over for the 9th inning. More action in the Atlanta bullpen. It'll be Eric Hosmer first for the Royals. He's 1 for 3.
And this is Ian Kroll, who was just recently called up. This will be his 3rd appearance. First 2 were against the Phillies.
Kroll got called up because of the work he did against left-handed batters, excuse me, in the minor leagues. They were 3 for 22 against him. And he jumps ahead of Hosmer quickly, 0-2. You look back at a game like this and you think about all the twists and turns that took place. Maybe the biggest play in the game was Hosmer getting picked off in the 1st inning.
Yeah.
The 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
Huge.
Strike 3 outside corner. Hosmer throws it. 1 away.
Kroll was burning some 95 heat across the outside corner on a couple of pitches this at bat. Man, oh man, that was lively coming out of his hand.
Braves Live presented by Xfinity follows us from Kansas City. 2 more outs to get for a victory for that man who has never won a road or interleague game in his brief major league career, Mike Foltynewicz. A strike to Morales. Strike after strike from Ian Kroll tonight. Castro can't get that one. Morales pokes a single to right with 1 out. And Alex Gordon's coming up.
The ball was hit hard and as great a play as Daniel made last inning. Playing Morales up the middle, he couldn't get to that one. Probably the last hitter that Kroll will face, so maybe he can get a double play and end the game.
We'd like to say the Magnificent Seven will follow as soon as Gordon hits into a 6-4-3 double play, but I don't think that's airing on Fox after our game. Braves Live will be.
It should be. Greatest Western in history.
There you go. No balls. And 2 strikes. Really and Vizcaíno just in case. Braves got Kroll from the Tigers, you might recall, in a deal that sent Cameron Maybin to Detroit. Cameron's been hurt most of the year. I don't know if he's back yet with the Tigers. Wish him well. The 1-2 pitch. Play foul. It's still 1-2. Strike three, knees inside corner. Gordon turns away, disgusted. And that'll be the last pitch Ian throws tonight. 2 strikeouts and a hit in 2/3 of an inning's worth of work.
Good pitch. Well done tonight. And some gas too.
Yeah, from Foltynewicz to Kroll, not much under 95 in the fastball category. South's Emmy Award-winning documentary Driven is back. Join us for a candid look inside the tumultuous past and bright future of former Clemson defensive end Kevin Dodd and his journey to the 2016 NFL Draft. It's Driven, Kevin Dodd's Draft Journey, premiering Friday at 10:30 Eastern on Fox Sports South and streaming live on Fox Sports Go, presented by Toyota. Jason Grilli versus Salvi Perez in the ninth. 2 outs, 1 aboard, 5-0 Braves lead it here in game 2 of the series. He swings the first pitch. Malik Smith on the run. He's going to get there, and that's going to end the game. The Braves have shut out the Kansas City Royals 5-0. First win of the year for Mike Foltynewicz. First career road win. First career interleague win. And the first win for the Braves on this long road trip. 5-0 at Kauffman Stadium. The Braves knock off the defending world champs, and we'll talk about that right after this.